Hello, my fellow dirt road travelers. Well, guess what? I can't believe it. It has been a year since we've owned our AEV Gladiator. So come along with us as we go through and review it.
Drive it.
Alright guys, so like I said, it has been a year since we've gone out and purchased our AEV Gladiator. Now the reason why we went out and purchased one was because we did have our JK precious metal that we ended up blowing the motor in. And Nate and I are wheeling almost every weekend, and we needed something right away that we could go wheel with. And for us, that was the AEV package. But it's been a year. Let's go back and look at all the things that was different than a stock Gladiator. Nate, you want to run through those?
Yeah, so the number one reason we went with the AEV Gladiator is it came with a 2.5-inch lift. So that alone allowed us to get out there and start wheeling right away. It came with the 2.5-inch AEV lift, like I said, with the Bilstein 5100s, and then also with BFG all-terrain 37-inch tire. So that was a big help to get on the trails. Also, it has a 456 gearing in it, which allows us to pull these 37s with no problem, and possibly a bigger tire in the future. As well as the lift, so there was a few other things that are different with the AEV, mainly the front bumper and the lights on the front. So it is equipped with the AEV 7000 series lights, which are super bright and great for night wheeling, as well as a Baja Designs light bar down underneath the bumper, which is also great for when you're on a dark country road and things like that. It definitely lights up the night.
All right, guys, so that was one of the main reasons why we picked our AEV Gladiator. She was ready to hit the trails. And speaking of trails, over this last year, we've hit over 50 trails in her and gone to over 4 different states. Nate, do you remember some of the iconic trails that we went to?
Oh yeah, definitely Moab takes the cake. I mean, we've been to Moab twice in it, so done some really cool trails. Rusty Nail comes to mind. That was definitely a challenge. The first weekend we got the Gladiator, we did Rocky Gap Road in Nevada. We did some trails out in Sand Hollow, Double Sammy, a few other ones. Went to Colorado, got to do Black Bear Pass, do Telluride. In Arizona, we did the back way to Crown King, which was amazing. We got a little bit of snow, and that was a fun experience. And then the other main one that everybody knows and loves is the Rubicon.
That was an awesome trail. And let me tell you, the AEV Gladiator held up. The performance was absolutely beautiful. Now, let me show you some B-roll of some of the stuff just to refresh your memory on some of the trails that we went on. Those trails were absolutely amazing. That was a lot to hit in 1 year. But with all that wheeling, unfortunately, sometimes things break, right, Nate?
Yeah, unfortunately.
But let me tell you, the AEV package has held up and it has done amazing. Our first real breakage was about 6 months in. Do you remember what that was, Nate?
Oh yeah, that was the steering stabilizer.
So
So the AEV uses the stock location for the steering stabilizer. They put a really nice Bilstein AEV steering stabilizer, but it just hangs too low, and unfortunately we hit it and did some damage.
Yeah. So going forth, AEV, we really hope that you move that bracket on up, because it's just in a nasty spot, and on the stock Gladiators, it always gets hit. Now, about 7 to 8 months in, we ended up breaking our adjustable track bar.
Yeah, so AEV uses the stock track bar, and it just got worn out. Just too many rocks, too much stuff. So
too much hard wheeling.
Too much hard wheeling. So we ended up putting some Rock Jock adjustable track bars, front and rear. It was mainly the front that was worn out, but we did both anyway.
Sometimes it's good to replace both at one time when you're under there. Now, later on down the road, about 9 months in, we ended up doing a rear truss. And something else broke.
Yeah, so we lost the pinion bearing in the rear differential. We did a lot of damage to the balancer on the drive shaft on all the rocks. This was after Rubicon, and I think that had a big part in it.
Mm-hmm.
So the balancer got damaged, and I think that ended up wiping out the pinion bearing. So when we were rebuilding the differential, we went through and put a truss on. Also added some chromoly axle shafts to the rear just to beef it up.
Yep. And overall, that's really it. All the other stuff that we've damaged was due to our own fault. Like, yes, we've hit our fender a few times. The fenders stick out pretty gosh darn far on the Gladiators.
Yeah, that passenger front fender looks pretty sad right now.
It's hanging there. But overall, everything on the AEV side has done really well. The performance has been really great. If you are an avid wheeler, the AEV package is pretty gosh darn sweet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's held up well for the abuse that we've put it through. And I know AEV designs them to be on the trails, but I don't think this is exactly what they meant.
We really did put it through the test, guys. I'm not lying when I said we've done over 50 trails. Almost every single weekend throughout this whole last year, we have been out on trails and not hitting just one trail, multiple trails at a time. We have really, really tried to put it to the test, and we're not babying it. We're taking it on black diamonds, difficult courses, all the party lines. We're really trying with this AEV, and so far we are completely ecstatic with it.
Yeah, and we've put 27,000 miles on her in this year, so just to keep that in mind. I mean, we've been all over in it.
Mm-hmm. And I know you guys heard us say it time and time again, we do live on a ranch and we do live on a dirt road, and that dirt road is not maintained. So we are constantly putting her through stress every single day, just driving her. And it is my daily vehicle. Yeah. Now, with that being said, we told you guys we were going to do our best to keep her stock through the whole year and only replace things that we had damaged. Now, moving forward, like we said, we are avid wheelers. We wheel all the time. We want to do the party lines, and we also want to do the fire roads from time to time. But guys, we're wheeling all the time. So Nate, what kind of changes do you want to make to the Gladiator?
Oh, everything.
No. I can't with Nate. Jesus. But
we have a couple things lined up. First thing, we did damage the other one thing we missed. We damaged the sway bar links in the rear, which that's a Jeep problem, not an AV problem. Nope. It's just the way that they are. So we are running with no rear sway bar at the moment, which is fine on the trail, but when you're trying to do truck things with it, it's not great. Yeah. Put some weight back there and it gets really wobbly.
Maybe later we'll do a video on things we would replace on a stock Gladiator. That might be something fun to look forward to in the future.
Oh, we'll use Grandpa Steve's rig.
Yeah. And we'll do that walk around. I keep promising everybody on Grandpa Steve's rig at the same time. But anyways, so going back.
Sway bars. Yep. Sway bars. So we're going to go to anti-rock sway bars front and rear. We have them already from Rock Jock. Thank you, Rock Jock. So we'll be installing those.
Our skid plates.
Our skid plates that you saw us go to Colorado and pick up from Next Venture Motorsports. Thank you guys. It was amazing. If you haven't seen the tour of their facility, check that out.
It's awesome, guys.
Yeah, really cool place, great people. And we're looking forward to get those on there.
And one of our biggest supporters, Super Winch and Weston, we've got some stuff coming from them, right?
Yeah, we got some big things from them. So we're upgrading the winch on the front to a 12,000-pound super winch. So that'll be a good improvement for us.
Because we're always saving people and ourselves.
Yeah. That'll be good for all those Subaru recoveries.
You just had to say it. After that, now this is a Jeep thing. We want to upgrade the steering.
Yeah, so the Gladiators as well as the JLs have an electric steering pump. And it's just not enough when you go to bigger tires.
No.
And we're going to be upgrading that in the future too. So we went with the Apex kit, which is going to be a power steering cooler, and then it bumps up the pressure on the stock electric pump, which will allow us to have a little better steering.
No more creaking.
Yeah.
But with that, are you upgrading something else to help or to reprogram? Is that what, or no, because we're going...
Oh, so with the anti-rock, because we have a Rubicon and it has a selectable front sway bar, we're going to have to eliminate that option because otherwise when it's unplugged, the computer's going to freak out. So we have a taser unit going in, which is going to give us some programmability with even other things, but it's going to allow us to program out that sway bar option. So that way the lights turn off.
Yeah, so we don't have all our little beep boops beeping at us.
Yeah. Also allows you to set tire size and gear ratio and all kinds of different features. So Taser is a really good unit.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have trust the rear. We're going to trust the front as well, because it seems like as we're wheeling, we're noticing a lot of people are having issues with their front axles.
Yeah, we've seen, well, personally, we've seen it on the trail once, and we've seen a few videos of people breaking the front axle right at the front axle disconnect through that cast section. So we got some parts from Artec. We're going to do an Artec front truss. We're going to do the C gussets and also the FAD bracket. So we'll be putting that stuff on here shortly.
Yeah, just for a little bit of peace of mind. We don't have to do it right now. Our axle's fine, but after seeing all that damage and carnage, I think there might be a problem maybe with Jeep with the manufacturing on that one. So maybe in the future you guys might want to look into that too if you own a Gladiator.
Yeah, that's not something you get a second chance on. I mean, you break it and then you're buying an axle. So
yeah,
definitely something you want to do before you have a problem.
Mm-hmm. And guys, Nate wore me down.
I'm going to get 40s.
Son of a gun. He's gonna get them. I think caved. He hasn't got them yet, but I'm kind of saying yes to the 40s.
Yeah, we're gonna get 40s.
And we are going to be using our rims off of precious metal, because when we go to 1 tons, we're not going to keep those wheels. We're gonna have to go to a different lug pattern and everything. So we're going to reuse our Dirty Life wheels off of precious metal. So they're kind of, do you want to explain what the rims are like? Or
so yeah, so those are beadlock Dirty Life wheels. They're the convertible wheels so that you can have them set up as a beadlock or as a regular rim and tire. So we, of course, we're gonna set them up as beadlocks. I believe the spare rim I don't have the beadlock ring for, so that one will be set up as a conventional tire because it's just going to be there just in case.
Yeah, we can probably get one later. I think those were only like, I don't know, around $200 to get.
I think they're around $100 to upgrade to the beadlock.
Yeah.
So that's something we'll probably do in the future, but for right now, at least the 4 tires that are on the Jeep will be beadlock.
Yeah, and that's just a little bit more safe, peace of mind for us wheeling. We haven't had a tire really de-bead. We've seen other people de-bead their tires, but so far, I don't know, Lady Luck has been on our side.
Yeah, well, we run a little bit higher air pressure most of the time just to avoid that problem. And then being that we have the diesel, it's a little heavy in the front, so we run a little more air pressure just because of that as well.
Yeah, but guys, overall, we are ecstatic with our AEV Gladiator. It has been an amazing year, and we have rode in comfort in her and really wheeled her the whole freaking time. So guys, if you're thinking about doing it, we stand behind it. We love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the diesel has worked out great for us. I know there's a lot of hate on the diesels, and like I said, we have 27,000 miles. We did have one issue with the diesel where kind of our fault, but the air filter got really dirty at Trail Hero after a week of wheeling and in super fine dust, and then we went up to Colorado and doing high altitude stuff. So we did end up getting the exhaust system plugged up a little bit and had to take it to the dealer to have that cleaned out and reset. So
that was a little bit of a pain in the butt. So definitely check your filters and make sure they're clean if you have a diesel Gladiator. But overall, that's a Jeep thing, not an AEV thing. Right. So, but guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. You guys know the drill. We're tired, hungry, and dirty, and that's going to be the end of this dirt road journey. Bye, guys.